Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons in context to the 2025 Matthias Schweighofer film, Netflix film, Brick. Fantastic film. Spoilers for Brick here. I want to continue talking about the people that Matthias Schweighofer and his girlfriend encounter as they venture through the dungeon that is the apartment building. So we talked about Anton. So the last group that they meet are Anton and Yuri. And what was interesting is Anton is extremely helpful. He is a really super smart um, developer, and he worked for the group that made the bricks, these nanite structures that are keeping everybody inside, which were built by a military contracting organization, not even by the military, just by a tech group that had been doing work for the military. That's important to understand. So what was really interesting is, so Anton understands what the brick is. He actually figures out exactly how to open brick, and actually sets a path for anybody else who has a cell phone to be able to open the brick as well, to make a door through it, right? We also at this point learned that the reason why we actually realized that the reason why the superhost had his cans cut off was, if you know how to open brick and then you just run through the door quickly, you're fine. But if you delay and get caught halfway through, it'll cut you right in half. And that's actually what happened with the female recreational substance user. She literally got cut in half, and then her boyfriend ended up self-deleting, which is very sad. And so what's interesting is Anton was helpful, right? But Yuri, his friend, is the complete opposite. So we finally get to Yuri, and what Yuri is Yuri is a conspiracy theorist, right? And so he says, hey, this is protecting us from the outside world, and there's terrible things outside, and we cannot open the brick because the things that are out there are going to come in here, right? So right now we're safe, but if you open the bricks, we're immediately going to be in danger. And him and Anton fought over this, and he actually killed Anton, right? So Anton was not sleeping. He had been strangled to death by Yuri, and Yuri had covered it up with a scarf, right? So now we realize Yuri is not helpful. He's a murderer, right? He's actually a conspiracy theorist murderer. And I love this film because this film is like, what if you look at life like a dungeon, right? And each person that you meet, where do they fall in the, are they a manticore and they're going to eat you? Are they a unicorn and they could bless you? Are they a scout? Right? Like all these, and they could send you along a particular path, right? And Yuri is an illithid, right? He's a brain-eating monster, just pure evil as they come. What's also interesting is once you see Yuri, I love this division in life, technically, but not functionally, right? Technically, Yuri is a human being, right? Functionally, he's not. He's a monster who you need to avoid with every possible tool you have. And and we don't even need to go as far as a fictional Yuri to find that. Ted Bundy was the same. He killed 50 women, right? Like, he was technically a human, but functionally, you needed to treat him as outrageous, as far more dangerous than a tiger, right? Like, than the most dangerous predator you would ever meet, right? He was far more dangerous to humans than a tiger would have been, right? Even though a tiger has fangs and claws, I would have much rather, come across a tiger than Ted Bundy, right? And so I think that's pretty interesting. And so Yuri is absolutely a monster. He is a full-on, and I think the best way to think of him is an illithid, right? He's a brain-eating super monster. He's not, and As soon as you come across people like this, you need to treat them extremely carefully. One, you should get as much distance as you can, and you should probably warn other people about them, right? What I thought was interesting was that the show was saying if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're dangerous. I don't think that's particularly true. And I think we live at a point now where we realize, like, you can't be like, oh, it's conspiracy theory. Like, I remember specifically there was a guy who was like 10 years before it came out, he was like, oh, the government tapes every single one of your telephone calls. You know that, right? And I was like, what? That's ridiculous, right? And sure enough, he was right. Obama came out and was like, yeah, we're monitoring all you guys. It's not it's not really. We've been monitoring you for a long time, right? Like, like, what was it? Like, it was, he said it 10 years before it was openly discussed, right? And Snowden did the leaks, and like, we no longer wonder if the government is listening on conversations, like they clearly are, right? Like, and so that's rough. That's really rough, right? And there's a lot of things like that where people are like, oh, this is an outrageous conspiracy theory, and 6 months later they're like, oh, no, that's a fact printed, like, that's just information printed in the New York Times on page 1, right, in the nonfiction section. And you're like, whoa. So I don't think it's true that conspiracy theorists are necessarily dangerous, but if somebody is willing to kill you because you disagree with them, they are absolutely a monster that should be managed as a monster. Right? Now, what are clues that people are monstrous? Well, I have a few. One, the C word. First of all, I think if you swear, that's a big one for me. Like, if you're like, oh, let me try to clean up my, if you're like, oh shoot, I mixed up and I said that word wrong. I get worried when I talk to people who cannot keep themselves from using the F word, right? The biggest one is the C word. If you say the C word in front of me, starts with a C, ends with a T, 4 letters, you and me are done. I will never speak to you again, ever. I think that is a true monster. Like, you need to run for the hills when you meet those kind of people. And I think we need to be careful about this. Like, I think these kind of people still exist. And, we have the Dungeon Master Guide, and we need to read the Dungeon Master Guide to know what kind of monsters are out there. And we also need to know how to categorize monsters, right? And so I think this is one of the most important things from this film, Brick, is realize some people are technically human, but functionally they're not. They're monsters, and they need to be dealt with as monsters, right? You need to get as much distance as you can from them, and you need to keep yourself safe from them, right? And so, and Yuri was absolutely that. I'm really thrilled with what an incredible tool the film Brick is, if you already are coming to it with the knowledge that Gary Gygax built into Dungeons and Dragons. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion, nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.